friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're going to be sewing the hip hop romper, and this is the adult version of the hip hop romper. So I'm super excited about it because I've been wanting to make this romper for a while, and I just got the perfect fabric to give that tropical feel, and I just love the look of the hip hop romper, so I'm excited to do it. Before I get started though, let me remind you about our fun fan giveaway, a $50 Ellie and my gift certificate, and all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and comment below, and you will be entered for a giveaway. So go ahead and do that if you haven't done it. Go ahead, subscribe and comment, and you will be entered. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. As you can tell, I already cut out my pattern pieces, and I'm ready to start. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to put our pockets on. So with our pattern piece, our front pattern piece has our guide on where our pocket goes. There's a little dot right there. And you're just gonna put your piece right on top. Now, as you can see, this is my back piece, and I'm just putting it right on top because it matches everything else except for obviously the front, the top. And I'm going to match it up. Make sure you match up where the waist goes in, and then I'm gonna use a pin and just pin where my pocket is going to start. And I'm gonna move that pattern piece out of the way, and I'm gonna open up that piece, and you'll see my pattern piece, and I'm gonna grab my pocket, and I'm gonna put the pocket right at that spot where I marked, at that raw edge. So I'm meeting that raw edge of the pattern to the side, and my pocket right on top, right sides together. So the right side of the fabrics are touching, and this is the top of my pattern and this is the bottom, and you want my pocket to face down so you can make sure to put your hands in. Now if you want to do just one pocket, you can do that, but just remember that you have to put the same side pocket on the back as the front. So if you're gonna put this pocket right here on this side, this is the back piece, so it's this way, so it's on this side. If you put it on this side of the pocket, then you need to do your front on this side as well, because if you put one pocket on the back on this side and one pocket on the front on this side, they're not gonna match, so you'll just have half a pocket. So I did the same thing on my front, and I already went ahead and found where my pockets go right here. So if I wasn't sure which pocket I already put on, I can put my romper right on top of each other like so, and see, okay, here's where my pocket is. This is the same pocket as on this side, so I'm gonna put my pocket on this side. That way you'll have the same pocket on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my pockets on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sew them on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them all on, then we can go sew them all together. All right, so I'm gonna grab my pocket, and I'm just going to put that side of my pocket. I'm grabbing my pocket and I'm putting that side of my pocket right flushed with my serger. You can do this on a sewing machine or on your serger. I just like to do it on my serger, but it will work just fine if you do it on your sewing machine. Some people actually prefer to attach them on their sewing machine, but I'm just going to sew this side so that the pocket is attached to my bodice all the way down. And I'm gonna do that same thing to all my pockets. Once my pockets are sewn on, I'm gonna lay one of my pieces face up on my board. Usually I think I'm gonna lay my front piece right up there so I can see the whole thing. Now, if you don't have pocket, put that away. If you don't have pockets, obviously you will just go straight down. But since I have a pocket, I have my pocket curve right there. And I'm gonna grab my back piece and I'm gonna put it right on top of my front piece, just like so. Matching up all the way from the bottom, all the way that side, and the right sides together, and matching up those raw edges right here, all the way up. If you don't have a pocket, you'll just go straight up, but since I have a pocket, I have to go around the pocket. So I'm putting my pocket down right here, and I'm gonna go all the way around my pocket and up my side. And you're gonna go up to this side right here. Okay, so you'll be sewing down the side seam, around the pocket, and then down the other side, okay? And you're gonna do the same for the other side. Again, putting that pocket side, that side up right here, all the way, and then putting the other side right on top and matching those raw edges. So we're gonna set it all up, and then we're gonna go ahead and sew up, around, and down. As I'm sewing the side, I like to put the pins kind of farther in from the seam, so that way I don't even have to move them as I'm sewing up the side. Now I do have to move some because I don't put them all as far as I should. Once I get to the pocket, what I like to do is I like to some people like to go in with a sewing machine and sew around the curve right here to give it a closer look. I just like to pull my fabric straight down and make it go straight as I'm sewing and go all the way around. Now as you can see, that way I don't have a gap on my pocket. And as you can see, I kind of am eating a little bit more of my seam allowance than I probably should, but I think on a pocket the seam allowance is not as important because it just means my pocket will be a little bit smaller. And as you can tell right here on this spot, I kind of cut it when I was going with my scissors, so I'm just gonna trim over that. It'll just be a little bit smaller than it's meant to be, and that's all right. So I'm gonna go again, I'm gonna straighten it up so it can catch that and not give me a gap at the pocket. So now I'm gonna go all the way down the side to the edge, and I'm gonna do the same thing, exact same thing for the other side. I've got my front liner right here. This is my liner part, and as you can see, it kind of goes in. So if you want to, you can go by kind of where it goes in, and this will be like where under your bust area is right here. Or if you want to kind of try it on top of yourself and see where the bust area would hit, we're gonna grab our elastic. I'm gonna put it right underneath here, and we're going to pin it on one side. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and baste that side right there so that when you go to stretch your elastic all the way, it kind of stays on there, because we're gonna baste it and we're gonna stretch it and we're gonna zigzag this whole piece on the bodice. This liner. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over to my sewing machine. I'm gonna use a zigzag stitch to sew it all the way over. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna attach it to that side, and then I'm gonna grab it and attach it right here on this side. And then that way when I go sew it on, I'm just stretching it out all the way to fit into my elastic. As you can tell, my machine is set on a zigzag stitch. I've pinned my elastic to the middle of my bodice because I feel like it makes it better for me to maneuver the elastic right here. And I kind of gathered my fabric a little bit. I feel like that gives me a better move when I'm attaching it to my fabric. That way I'm not just pulling super tight. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sew that stretch stitch all the way down as I gather it a little bit, my fabric, as it's gathering. And then once I get to the middle, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that pin and just go to the other side. Again, I'm just kind of gather my fabric just a little bit, so that way it's easier for when I'm pulling. Don't put it right on top of each other. Like, don't fold it on top of each other. It's going to be a gather, not a fold. It's a gather. So I'm just kind of making sure that this side is out of the way so it doesn't get tucked in there and sewn together. And then I'm gonna go ahead and stretch. Oof, this elastic pinned the wrong way. I don't want it to be crooked. I'm gonna pin it right here. If you wanted to go ahead and baste that edge, sometimes that makes it a little bit easier for when you're sewing. That is up to you.
And that is basted. And this just kind of gives you a support, like a little bit of support right here under the bust of your bodice. So I've got my liner front, already has that gathering stitch. I've got my liner back right here. So I'm gonna grab that front and that back, and I'm going to meet those side raw edges together. So this side right here, I'm gonna meet it together and pin, and I am going to sew this side together right here. Just meet those raw edges, right sides together, and then the other side as well. And I'm just gonna go ahead and sew those together right here and on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and sew those together, and then we'll move on to our next step. Now that my sides have been sewn on, this is my liner, and my sides are sewn on for my liner. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my main romper piece, and I'm going to be fitting it right into my liner. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna turn it right side out. And here's my front piece. There's still a pin in there. You don't wanna leave pins in there. Here's my front piece, and I'm going to fit this right into my liner. I'm gonna put it right inside so that my right sides of my liner are touching the right sides of my romper. And I'm gonna meet up those raw edges. So here's my front straps right here, and my neckline right here, my front neckline. And I'm matching those raw edges with the liner and the outer. And I'm gonna sew the neckline. So this area, I'm gonna sew, start at the top of the strap, go all the way down and up. Now do not sew, we're not sewing this gap right here closed, because that's where we're gonna put our straps. So we wanna leave those gaps open. So we're gonna start, go down and around, and then we're gonna start again, pick right back up again, right on this side of the strap, and go down along the side and the back of the romper. So I'm attaching the side seams right here, pinning the side seams, making sure that the raw edges match up. And I'm just going all the way down around the back, sewing those right sides together all the way around the back. And you shouldn't have to stretch or anything, because you cut this the same, it's the same size. The liner is the same size as the outer. So just meet right here, meet this seams right here. And all the way down and all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish pinning and sew all the way around the whole thing. Just remember to leave those front top without sewing. Don't sew those tops. Gonna go all the way around and up the top again, all the way up. Don't sew this area right here. Okay, I'm gonna go do that. As you can see now, I sewed all the way around except for right on those areas where the casings are gonna go through. I'm gonna turn it right side out. Tuck my liner in. Bring the little pieces out. One. Here's the other one. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and steam all those raw edges. Making sure you tuck in that liner, and you will later go back and sew that liner right here on the edge, this seam right here, and you will sew that liner and outer together right there, so it doesn't like bunch up and come up on you when you're wearing it. So here's my front And I'm gonna go all the way around and just steam those edges right there. The lined edges. They're now lined. So you can see right here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a casing for my elastic for my strap to go all the way around my bodice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab, sorry, I'm still kind of pulling down that part down. I'm gonna grab right here, and here's my outer raw edge. I'm gonna start at a 1/2 inch away from the edge right here, and I'm gonna sew a casing all the way down, all the way around, 1/2 inch away from the edge, all the way around the back, and straight down the back where it comes back all the way down, and it comes back again up here all the way right here to the front. I'm gonna do that on my cover stitch just because I like the look of it. You can do a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. Any kind of stretch stitch will work. So let's go ahead and do that. I am using my cover stitch, and I'm gonna start at on the one side. And again, it's 1/2 inch away, so I like that my cover stitch kind of guides me on 1/2 inch. I know that 1/2 inch from the edge would be like about, oh, my thread is coming unthreaded. It will be like touching the raw edge right there. So I will keep that on that foot right there is kind of raw right there, that raw edge. Making sure that I'm going all the way around the whole thing. All the way around. Now, if you're doing your sewing machine, any kind of stretch stitch right there will work. But I just gotta make sure that all the fabric is out of the way everywhere else, so it doesn't get bunched up and cut there. And we're just gonna keep going all the way around, creating that casing where your strap is going to go. I'm coming all the way up right here, and again, just kind of coming over and finished. Pull that out. Don't know where my scissors are, but I'm gonna cut it, and we are ready to move on. There is my casing. So now our strap, we're gonna move on to our strap. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it right sides together and meet at that raw edge. And we're gonna go on our sewing machine, our serger or sewing machine, and we're going to sew that strap raw edge together, those raw edges together, to create one strap. Then we'll turn it right side out, and it'll be just a long strap that will fit through that casing. So let's sew that up. I'm so excited. You're so excited? This is gonna be so super cute. And I love super cute things. You hear the helicopter flying by, so loud. I don't know if you can hear it. All right, let me go ahead and sew that up. All right, it is sewn together. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab it and flip it. Now what you can do is sometimes I'll use like a big safety pin, and I feel like I always fail you, so I'm gonna say this now while it's in my mind so I don't forget. You always ask me what kind of fabric I'm using. This is a double brush poly is what I'm using for this romper. I know you always ask me that, and I always forget to tell you. So I'm just fitting that pin right in there and just turning it right side out. I'm just turning this whole thing right side out. The whole strap. What kind of fabric are you using to make your hip hop romper? Or what kind of fabric have you used? What is your favorite fabric for the hip hop romper? Tell me, I want to know. I want to know what your favorite fabric is for the hip hop romper. Okay, now once it's turned, you can leave your pin in there because now we're going to grab our romper and we're gonna go through that casing, go all the way around. We're gonna start at the one end and we're gonna fit that strap all the way in through that casing. And go all the way around. This is what takes the longest, like the casings and the fitting of the elastic through, like whenever we're doing elastic or something like that. I always feel like that's what takes me the longest. It's not even like it's hard, it's like easy, it's just, I don't know why. Okay, we're going all the way around. And when are you wearing this romper? Do you wear it like every day? Do you have a special occasion coming up that you're gonna wear it to? Are you going somewhere exciting? And wear your hip hop romper? Tell me where you're going. I wanna go with you. All right, now I'm coming out the top over here and I'm pulling this whole strap in. So fit it all the way through. Now you're basically just going to tie a knot at each end to keep it from going back in and getting lost in there when you wash it, when you do all those things that you do with your romper. So I will just keep going and pull it all the way, and then once it's even, you'll just tie a knot here at the end, or if you want to sew those raw edges together, that way you don't have the fuzzy here. I'm just gonna clip it, and you can go in and just kind of turn it down and just sew them together right there. Do some kind of top stitching right there. It's up to you on that. Now on the side, like I was telling you earlier, below the casing, don't do it on the casing, below the casing, you're gonna go in and line up those seams right here, the seam of your liner and the seam of your outer, and you're gonna go right below that casing and we're gonna stay stitch. Well, it really doesn't have to be a basting stitch, but it's a stitch that's going to keep it from moving on you. So I'm gonna go and do a straight stitch. I'm probably gonna do like a size 3 stitch and stitch it right on the ditch right there, all the way down, so that your liner doesn't come up on you when you're wearing it. So I'm gonna do it on one side and the other side. I'm doing it on both sides where those seams are, those side seams are. We're almost done. It's looking super cute. Look at that, so cute. And I'm excited. All right, now if you wanna do elastic on your legs, you will grab your leg, you will open it up, and you will attach the elastic on, serging the raw edge and attaching that elastic on. Now I am not doing that. I am going to go ahead and do bands on my legs. I already cut up my bands right here. So I'm gonna grab my bottom and we're gonna work on that gusset. So here's my back piece. So if you wanna go ahead and mark where the center of your back is, right here. So this is my center. I'm just gonna do a little snippety snap right there so I know exactly where it's at. It's just a little snip, you can't even tell it's there. Let's do that for the front as well, because we're gonna attach it to the front and the back eventually. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it right now. Well, we'll add it to the front as well. All right, and so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our gusset, we're gonna turn it right sides together so that we can also find the half on this little one, so we know what's the front and what's the back. Okay, and now we're gonna grab it and open it up, and we're gonna mark, see where our front, where we found that notch, we're gonna mark it with the notch on the back. Okay, and we're gonna turn and we're gonna go down the edge, and that's just giving you more like a little bit of extra room in that crotch area with all the like without any extra bagginess, but a little bit of more room right there. So we're just attaching those raw edges together. So see how the raw edge right there, raw edge together, and pin. So now we're gonna do the back, and we're gonna do is sew it around like so. And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna sew it to the front. So let me go ahead and sew it to the back, and then we'll come back and show you how to sew it to the front. All right, so my gusset is on right there, is sewn together on that back. Now I'm gonna turn my hip hop romper inside out because I'm gonna work on the attaching it to the front and attaching those legs together. Look at this. I broke a nail. Oh my goodness, my nails were getting so long and I was like, okay, I gotta cut them. So I guess it's time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and see how this piece is shorter. This has to match up right here to the edge. And we're gonna make sure that all our gusset should be able to make it fit. So we're gonna go all the way around the raw edge. And this is kind of turning around just like we did on the back. And you're just like fitting it right there to go along the raw edge. Okay, make sure you're pinning it really nicely right here where it meets. And when I'm gonna sew it, I'm just gonna like pull on it and stretch right over it. So the other leg as well, we're gonna start at the bottom because we want these right here to meet. And then you can have the gusset, you might have to stretch it a little bit to fit. You don't have to stretch it very much, but you might have to stretch it lightly to fit right here as you're turning right at this raw edge. Okay, and pin it really nicely, and then we're gonna go in and sew from the leg around the gusset up down the other leg. Then we're gonna attach our bands and we're done. Once those legs, that gusset and leg is sewn together, if you did do the elastic around the leg, all you're doing is you're just gonna fold up and hem. And that's all you're doing for your elastic. But if you're doing your bands, we're gonna fold that band wrong sides together to give it a memory fold right there and just steam. We are almost done. So exciting. Open it up, fold it right sides together, and I'm gonna go ahead and sew that raw edge real quick right here. Once that raw edge is sewn, I'm gonna turn it right sides together, wrong sides together again where we left that memory fold, and I'm going to go ahead and pin the seam and find our quarters. So I'm gonna grab this seam and go to the front and quarter and pin. I'm gonna match the front and the back, those two quarters, and I'm gonna go to the sides, one side, another side, and pin. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to my leg. I'm gonna grab my leg, not my actual leg, but my romper leg, and I'm gonna match up those two seams. Sorry, that was corny. Match up the two seams and go to one side and then the other. And now I have my quarters. And I'm gonna grab my band and I'm gonna fit it into the side and right sides together into the romper. Raw edges together, right sides together. And I like to put the seam on the inside of the romper so it's like facing the inside. And I'm just pinning, attaching, putting together those quarter points. And then I'm gonna go over to my serger and sew those together, the band and the romper, right here along the raw edge. There's not much stretching. All you're doing is you're just sewing that raw edge together all the way around to sew them together all the way around. So let's do that and we'll be done. my cuff is done, and now I just need to steam it. If you wanted to go back and top stitch it, it's up to you. You can top stitch it, but there's no need. And our romper is done, and I can't wait to put it on and show you all how cute it really is. Look at this cute little thing. I'm so excited about it. I hope you enjoyed this sewing tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did on this romper. Please come to Facebook or Instagram and share your makes with us. We want to see what you're making. We want to see your rompers, and we want you to be inspired by what everybody else is making. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you can be entered for a giveaway. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.